Please welcome for four proud, successful Black business owners, Gwen Woods and Phoebe Bell Clinton of the Crabby Shack, Dennis McKinley of Hot Dogs Factory and Other Ventures, and Ryan Wilson of The Gathering Spot. Welcome, beautiful Black people. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. So let's just get into this. It's been a really challenging year for all of us. So what are y'all doing for fun outside of work? If you're able to have any fun, are y'all able to have some fun, or it's just like work, work, work?
It's not much fun happening. You know, it's like you're either working or you're home. It started off with work, work, work. I mean, when COVID happened in the height of it, our restaurant didn't shut down. I was too scared. You know, we had sick employees. We had people just walk off the job out of fear. And I was just fearful because I wasn't sick, but I didn't feel comfortable just sitting at home. Mm-hmm. And I just, you know, came to work every day. And I was working every single day with just three of us. And we just held it down. And our hours was different, but just coming to work daily, it was scary. I was sanitizing after I just was nervous the whole time, but I was also nervous for my future. This is my bread and my butter. So I can't just close. That didn't work for us. So it was definitely hard.
And you two are in New York, where at one point was for real the epicenter, where it was really, really, really bad. So my heart goes out to all of you as business owners, because we all wanted to go away, pandemic to go away. So we're like, all right, close everything down. But the reality is we don't get to see the struggles that you all have to go through. So speak on that, about working through the pandemic. I know you're in Atlanta, so it's not, y'all ain't taking it as seriously as the rest of the country.
See, Claudia, here you go.
Yeah.
Listen, me and Ryan, we in Atlanta. Look, you know, Atlanta is still pretty much, I guess they would say, wide open. But look, the pandemic has forced a lot of restaurants to pivot. Now, business is still good, right? People are still eating. People are still ordering. We had to just shift our business a little bit at the hot dog factory. You know, we were about, 60-40 as far as walk-in and dining. Now we're, 80% just, third-party delivery. So we got to change our business a little bit. But we've adjusted, we're almost a year into the pandemic. So, this may be how business is done, in the long term. So, some changes in business you have to make and you should make. And things like the pandemic kind of shine a light on some things you need to work on in your business too. So, we worked on those and made some adjustments.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Ryan, how about yourself? How's it been for you?
I mean, it's been an incredible year. I mean, and it's even crazy to say that it's been a year that we've been in this mode. I remember I called my mom last March and I was like, Mom, we're called The Gathering Spot and the news is saying you cannot gather. Like, I don't I can't believe this is going to be the way that this all ends. But I mean, the thing that I reflect on now, and what we've been saying, honestly, pre-pandemic, is that we were in the community business more than anything else. And we faced the challenge head on, realized that, like, if we could just continue to keep people connected, I think for a lot of us that are in hospitality, connecting people, bringing people together is really what inspires us daily. And we pushed through, shifted settings, but didn't shift mission was kind of the mode that we've been in as a team. And so I'm proud to say now, a year later, that, everything is going as good as it could go.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you made it through. It is amazing that it's a year that we've been dealing with this. So before we talk more about your businesses, I definitely want to get into a little bit of your personal lives, because I'm nosy like that. So Gwen, not too long ago, you celebrated your 51st birthday. Black crack, because you look amazing. Did you get to celebrate with your business partner Phoebe? And what are some of your beauty tips? Because you're really aging gracefully. You look amazing. You look great.
Well, I actually braved the airplane and I went on a trip. I went to where did I go? I went to Mexico. I went to Cancun. There were three of us, and we stayed. We tested before, and then we stayed at an Airbnb, and actually, it was much needed and amazing. Now, in terms of my beauty tips, eye cream and moisturizer.
It seems like the people with the best skin, you ask them, what's your regimen? It's always like, oh, just some Dove soap and some Vaseline. It's never it's just say it. It's just good genes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good genes. Now, Ryan, you've been really instrumental in politics and have gotten a chance to meet and host President Joe Biden and Madam Vice President Kamala Harris and Nobel Peace Prize nominee Stacey Abrams. What was it like for you to meet those icons?
I mean, it's been an honor. We always knew that the Gathering Spot would be a place where political conversations would happen, but we could not have imagined that Georgia and Atlanta in a lot of ways was going to be the center of the political world over the last couple months. And so we jumped all the way in, had been involved in both of the Senate races for a really long time since their earliest days, and did have the opportunity on a couple of occasions to welcome the now president and vice president of the United States. But our mode was to make sure that folks knew how important the races were and that we turned out. And as someone that's from here, you could have never told me in high school that this state would turn blue, and to be a part of it is just a tremendous honor. I mean, Georgia's a true battleground state now, and I think it'll stay that way for a while.
I lived there for a year, and I mean, of course, when you're in Atlanta, it's so black judges and politicians and doctors and business owners, and it's beautiful to see. But when you get outside of Atlanta, about 15, 20 minutes, you see those Confederate flags and it's a little nervous. And I was really proud of y'all, how y'all really came through. I mean, kudos to the whole state. Well, the blue parts. Dennis, before we talk about the hot dog factory, let's talk about family. Now, you're the father of the precious Pilar, whose mother is Real Housewives of Atlanta star, Portia Williams. How has fatherhood been for you, especially when you're on a reality show, so on a microscope, and does this motivate you to push even harder for success with that beautiful little girl you got?
Oh, most definitely. I always joke around with my friends, and if I would have had a kid 10 years ago, I would be retired on the beach somewhere already. Having a kid just and Ryan probably feels the same way. He's got a little one too. It just changes everything that's important in your life, right? And when you're talking about building legacy, etc., like it means something different when you can wake up and take your kid to school and say, man, this is what I'm working for. So, I mean, it's changed my life, all the way around. Just businesses went to another level, personal life went to another level. So, yeah, I mean, it's an honor to have kids and just build upon legacy when you're trying to do good business.
I love to hear that, because all too often we hear like kids get in the way of success, as opposed to kids being an extra motivating factor to kind of put that battery in your back more. I think that's just the better way of looking at it, instead of it being a burden, more of a blessing. It sounds like that's how you look at it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Now, Gwen and Phoebe, you're the co-owners of the Krabby Shack. Can you share with us the short version of how you got started? Like, how did this get started?
So, Fifi came to my house. We were friends, and she was at my house for a dinner party, and she came up to me and she said, babe, I want to open a crab restaurant in Brooklyn. She was in fashion, I was in music. We knew nothing about opening a restaurant, but I was like, this is ingenious. I love it. If we love crab, there are other people like us who love crab. And so about 2 months later, I called her late at night, like 2 o'clock in the morning. I have a long day at work. I said, do you really want to do this? And she said, absolutely. And 6 months later, we opened the Krabby Shack.
Just like that. You make it sound so easy.
It wasn't.
You said the short version.
Yeah.
Especially in a place in New York. I mean, that's like one of the restaurant capitals of the world, right? There's a lot of restaurants in New York, a lot of competition. So to go ahead and take that step,
Right.
you nervous?
I mean, we did some research. We were doing our research, going to all the restaurants and flirting with the chefs, trying to figure out how to make a kitchen, because neither one of us knew how to build a kitchen. So he's like, can we see your kitchen?
Okay, that's how you do it.
Go in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you do that. Got it.
I love it. Okay, so Ryan, we the CEO of the Gathering Spot, I didn't know it was a private members only club. So how are members selected, and what can get somebody denied?
So the most important question that we ask, and I mean, there's a different thing that we're trying to accomplish at TGS. it's again about being in community with one another. And so we're asking questions about more of who you are and what you care about than like what you do. And the club is rooted in the culture. I mean, it's Black through and through. I mean, starting from me and our co-founder of the company to our team to the folks that you'll see. So that's the music, the artwork, the whole experience. And we're looking for folks that are genuinely interested in just building with one another. Sometimes that's very kind of professional in nature. Other times it's social. I think we've hosted some of the best parties pre-pandemic that you could see down here. But all in all, again, I mean, the business is about trying to make sure folks know one another. So we're looking to make sure that that's the thing that you want to bring to the community more than anything else.
So what is it, like, is it yearly membership you have, or is it multi-year?
So it's yeah, yearly or monthly. It's your choice, and we're building clubs across the country. So our second club was in Washington D.C. We just opened it, and then we're under construction in Los Angeles. So the goal over time is that no matter where you live, you'll have access to a gathering spot in most major cities. So we're still kind of in phase one of our rollout plan in terms of opening new clubs.
I love that. We had the Soho House in LA, and which is cool, and I like the concept, but a lot of times it'd be like 2 other Black people there. You know what I'm saying? It'd be nice to see more of us in these kind of like membership type clubs.
I mean, the inspiration for us early on is, I think, as Black people, we're used to being in spaces where we're tolerated but not celebrated, right? And so the distinction is clear. We're very specific about what we're trying to do at TGS, which is it's a celebration of Black people. So yeah, I mean, again, it doesn't really matter when you come. We're open 24 hours a day. The work, there's 3 parts of the space: a restaurant, bar, workspace, and event space. And it doesn't matter when you come, you will find yourself, I think, with this feeling of being at home, which is why we started this.
Okay, I'll check y'all out. If I can get a membership, I get approved. All right, now Dennis, I hear you're playing the business game like a real life Monopoly board by opening up restaurants and companies across the country. So kudos to that. Tell me about the Hot Dog Factory, Crew Lounge, and your other business ventures. Sounds like you're really busy.
Yeah, so Hot Dog Factory really was kind of I wouldn't call it a fluke, but I'm born and raised in Detroit. Anybody been to Detroit or New York, for the most part, like, we love hot dogs, right? So, being in Atlanta, I just didn't have a ton of hot dog options, and I just got fed up and said, you know what, like, I need to open up a hot dog restaurant. That's my favorite food. I went into this hot dog restaurant in Smyrna, and one side was painted red for ketchup, the other was yellow. I'm like, oh no. So I just, asked the guy, like, let me buy it from you, man. Let me put my Detroit flavor on it. And that was 6 years ago. And, today we have 13 locations open all across the country, including Brooklyn, New York. We in Park Slope. So shout out to Brooklyn. Crew Lounge was a concept. Look, hookah is catching fire, among millennials and young folks across the country. But we've been doing hookah at Crew, for almost 10 years. We started in Midtown. And, the thing about Atlanta is, there's a ton of pockets, around Atlanta where, young folk like to party: Buckhead, Edgewood, Peter Street. So we diligently, put crews in those areas. And like overnight, people are coming to Atlanta like, hey, man, why is there in a crew in my city? Why isn't there a crew in my city? So we started to franchise that brand. Shout out to Ryan for DC Gathers. We're opening Crew DC on 8th Street in about 2 weeks. We expanded to Dallas. Houston is under construction. Austin, Texas is under construction.
Phoenix. When you're coming to Dallas? I live out here. When's Dallas?
Oh, yeah. Look, we actually in Richardson, right outside Dallas, but Dallas is under construction right now. So we'll be open in probably 60 days or so. So I'll make sure I invite you out to Crew Dallas.
Yeah, I'm in Richardson all the time.
Hookah is all the rage right now. I know, people always ask me like, "Oh, McKinley, it's the pandemic. How you let people smoke hookah and share?" Right, but look, we got, we're taking the best safety precautions we can. We sanitize. When people smoke hookah, we throw the hoses away, right? So that's a great area. But one thing that Ryan kind of touched on earlier is, like, Atlanta is the Mecca. Like, this has been the best year that we've ever seen at Crew, because New York is shut down, LA is shut down, Detroit is shut down. So we get so many people who are coming to Atlanta that are experiencing Crew for the first time. And it's just been amazing, for the brand.
All right, well, good to hear it. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about how these talented business people are still thriving despite the pandemic. Stay tuned for more Out Loud with Claudia Jordan when we return. Welcome back to Out Loud with your girl, Claudia Jordan. Now, if you want to see more Foxhole content, subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure to hit that notification bell to get all the best updates on new videos and live shows. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and tell us how you feel in the comment section. We really appreciate that. I'm here with the Krabby Shack's co-owners, Gwen Woods and Fifi Bell Clinton, the Gathering Spot CEO, Ryan Wilson, and serial entrepreneur and the hot dog factory owner, Dennis McKinley. So welcome back. And I want to try all of your businesses, and I think all of the people in the chat are really excited as well. RJ says Dennis was ahead of the game. And Anderson says, I don't live in Atlanta, but the Gathering Spot seems like it will be awesome. Ladies, they say y'all don't age. You're both gorgeous. Lots of love. L. Anderson says, Dennis, good to see you doing well, King. So lots of love in the chat room on our YouTube channel. So COVID-19 hurt many businesses, forced them to close down. However, you've all been able to thrive. How much were you really impacted by the pandemic? Some people say they're better. Some people say they're worse. So how were you all affected business-wise?
So I'll say that for us, a lot of the crab restaurants, most of the crab restaurants in the New York area closed. So we were one of the only ones that stayed open during the whole thing. And I have to say that a lot of it had to do with the Trump and his Chinese flu thing, because a lot of the crab restaurants are Asian owned. And so they closed down and we were, again, the only ones open. So we actually flourished because we received so much new business because of that. People wanted their crab. People weren't maybe necessarily, they couldn't come in, but we were getting takeout. We were getting a lot of delivery, and we actually had a very good summer for us.
So it's so funny. So Trump's racism helped out the Black company.
Yeah.
So he didn't mean for that to happen. Okay. All right. I'm here for it. So Ryan, how about you? How much were you affected business-wise, your bottom line?
I mean, it's a two-sided answer. I mean, we in 2019 hosted 2,400 events. And so in 2020, I didn't count because we didn't get anywhere close to that. And it would make me sad to actually know that number. But on the main part of what we do, which is, again, being a private club and connecting people from a membership standpoint, we actually grew last year. And the mode that we were in as a team was just, look, we can shift a lot of the things that we do. We program a lot. There's almost an event every day for members of the club. And like a lot of businesses, we brought that content online and continued to do everything we could to make sure that the community was supported. We have a lot of small business owners. So we created a fund. We started to make sure that businesses in the community got capital that they needed to survive the crisis. And from that perspective, again, the business was fine. So I'm grateful for it, but excited that once we can get fully open again, we can get back to doing a lot of the experiences that folks know the Gathering Spot for. I mean, we've hosted thousands and thousands of events over the years.
And Dennis, I want to ask you, seeing how things have gone for you and you seem to be expanding during this pandemic, how excited are you for when this is finally over? Because I'm thinking, if y'all, all three of you all can survive during this pandemic, I can only imagine the anticipation that you're all having for when this is over.
Yeah, who knows, when it will be over, right? But I will tell you something, the pandemic has forced a lot of people who might have been, working in corporate America to just take a strong look in the mirror and say, hey, what do I want to do for the next 10 or 20 years of my life? Do I want to work from home? Do I want to start a business? I mean, we've got an influx of entrepreneurs who are interested in owning their own business. So for Hot Dog Factory, for Crew, for some of the other ventures, we've seen just an interest in entrepreneurship just go through the roof, right? How long can you sit at home and like Zoom meetings? Like, that's not gonna cut it. So look, if you wanted to get in the restaurant business like the Krabby Shack, the way they did it that's just what America is about, right? You get out, you get an idea, you find an opportunity, and you make it happen. On the franchise side with us, we kind of hold your hand and make that process a little easier. But look, this pandemic has opened up a lot of opportunity for entrepreneurs and restaurants. If you want to be in the restaurant business, there's no better time to do it. They got ghost kitchens all across this country where you could try a concept without, spending $200,000 or $300,000 traditionally what it costs to open a restaurant. So,
a ghost kitchen, is that just like a rental kitchen, like a temporary kitchen?
Yeah, it's a ghost kitchen is a kitchen where you don't have a storefront, but you can take advantage of third-party delivery where customers can still order, your cuisine.
So when I want to know from all four of you actually. So, last summer we had the protest, George Floyd, and, a lot of times I know as Black folks, this is something that we do to each other. Hook me up, let me get a hookup. But we don't really do that when we go to mainstream businesses. I've had a little small business and I'm like, if I give it all away, I'm not going to make any money. And it seemed like after the protest this summer, there was a bit more unity than we used to have. And it seemed like people were really excited about supporting Black businesses. Did y'all see a jump or a bump in your business after that? Were y'all affected? Did you notice an increase? And were people really starting to support you more?
We absolutely did. We had white girls coming in saying, "We come all the way from Williamsburg to support you." And Williamsburg is like 10 minutes away. But we did get support. We got support from our Black people. We got support from white people. I must say, I do feel like there was some white guilt involved in there, because it lasted, I would say with, to be honest, white people, it lasted for about a month. But my Black brothers and sisters, they constantly are coming and supporting us, saying, "We are here for you. We don't want you shut down. We are supporting you. We are here because you are Black owned." And that has meant so much for us.
Love. I was hoping that was the answer. Ryan and Dennis, same with you? Or was it similar situation?
Yeah, I mean, the gathering spot the entire time has been powered by Black folks through and through from the very first day that we opened our doors. But I do think that we're in a really interesting moment and one where we have an opportunity to push even further. I saw a stat earlier this year that that basically said that Black folks spend 97% of our income outside of our community. Our dollar doesn't even circulate one time in the community. And so I think all of the conversation that we saw last summer is beautiful. And like we should continue to make sure that we're very intentional about the way that we're supporting one another past this moment, though. It's got to continue to go on, because the stats are showing us that if we can move from 3 to 10%, that the impact that would have just from a jobs perspective in our communities would be transformational. So if you're out there, please continue to support Black businesses. It is a phenomenal way to make sure that a bunch of other things in our community are also addressed when we make sure that the small businesses, which are really the engine, have the resources that they need.
Our buying power is so incredible. Was it like 2 trillion? It's a ridiculously high amount. We make every other nationality millionaires and billionaires. Rarely are their businesses, our businesses allowed in their neighborhoods, but we see all of theirs in our neighborhoods. And I would like that favor to be returned. You know what I'm saying? Dennis, how about yourself? Did you see a bump with the after?
Yeah, 1,000%. Look, Black pride is at an all-time high right now. And, I hope we can just keep that going, especially on the restaurant side. I want to see more soul food restaurants, right? I want to see more ideas from Black and brown people, from what, grandma used to make, or family recipes, right? You go to like LA and you go to Roscoe's, right? You can't get that same experience in Kansas City. You can't get that same experience in Columbus, Georgia, right? So, look, while we're having so much Black pride, right? Let's push our fellow Black restaurateurs, etc., to not only open more businesses, but add more things that Black people like to their menu, right? I think that's very important, for the culture.
And I don't know if we'll ever have a moment like this again moving forward. I mean, this perfect storm of negative things that happened at one time kind of was a catalyst for things in awareness, Black supporting each other, and then there's a lot of government money that is out there for us, like low interest loans that we need to take advantage of. Don't get caught up in those scams though. But there's a lot of money out there. Listen, we all got friends. So I'm just saying, you know, these are great times, I think, to be a Black entrepreneur. Gwen and Fifi, I wanted to say congratulations to you both. Apple recently highlighted your venture for Black History Month. So how does that feel to get that kind of support?
It was awesome. It was good. People kept texting us screenshots, and it was a really good feeling. I mean, you know, we've come a long way, and I was one of those people that constantly was asking people, what else? Who else do you know that's Black owned? I mean, it wasn't until I opened up a business though that I started continuously supporting Black owned businesses. I'm talking, I even changed my dry cleaner. And I'm so used to my dry cleaner, but this Black dude opened up down the block, and I was like, oh my God, okay, you know? So it's so important, like Ryan said, it's so important to empower ourselves and our communities.
All right, good to hear it. Now, fellas, before we have like a minute left, we have a fan question for you, Dennis. Don't get mad at me.
Oh,
don't shoot the message. Okay, first of all, we hear you're releasing a music album for kids, so kudos to you for that. And the fans want to know, the viewers want to know, are we going to see you and Portia back together anytime soon?
I don't know. That's, as they say down south, that's my baby mama, right? Look, I love Portia. We got a beautiful kid together, and you never know what happens, tomorrow.
Okay.
That's my buddy, so.
That's a very good answer. That's a good answer. No one can talk trash about that answer. That's a good answer there. And Ryan, along with your Gathering Spot, you also own A3C, which is a music tech and film festival, which is amazing. Your family must be really proud of you for that, for all these things you got going on, Ryan. Thank
you. Yeah, no, A3C, we bought that company a couple years ago, and my daughter, she's actually 10 months today. So it's been a challenging season, but a beautiful season at the same time. But all in all, I'm grateful and grateful for the community of folks in both businesses, both at the Gathering Spot and at A3C, that make it possible for us to be able to do this work each day.
And I have to I love to give people flowers while they're here. You were also featured in Forbes, the New York Times, Ebony, and so many more other publications. So kudos to all of y'all. Y'all are doing your thing. I'm super proud to talk to y'all. And this is super inspirational for other folks watching that want to get in the game. And I really appreciate all of you. I want to thank Gwen Woods, Fifi Bell Clinton, Ryan Wilson, and Devin for joining us tonight. Thank you so much for being here.